Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Was Kaguya Forgotten Son and Saved by Kami. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Found OP Weapons and got godly abilities over on Anime King 2. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy. I also post a new episode over Anime King Prince. And I also post a new series on this channel. So yeah, right below this there will be a new series. What if Naruto created summoning creatures? So enjoy that guys. And also over Anime King 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Fuse with Minato, Kushina, and Kurama. If you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels. Well, 4 to be exact. 4 that I post what if on every single day that you guys can enjoy. So links will be down in the description. So go ahead and have a look and check them out guys. So without further ado, it is to begin this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last part that we left off, Yasaka spent a few moments at the Uzumaki gravesite as Naruto was there with her, allowing her to grieve. She never knew her parents, no, she knew that her mother was an Uzumaki. However, unfortunately, the bodies of her parents were never found after the Kaguya attack. That is what the old man told her. After that, Naruto proceeded to take her home so that she could get some rest. Some time passed after that as they were going to go on their first mission. However, their first mission was to find a damn cat. We then had a time skip. 4 years pass. The group was now 16 years old, all of them were, including the other rookies that were just leaving the academy. Because of their special tests, Naruto and his group was Genins for the past 4 years, but the others were just now leaving the academy and becoming Genins, as they had passed through the graduation tests. Yuako and Sasuke relationship had not really gotten better at all. The 3 girls have changed a lot and grown as well, and Naruto has grown as well, as Naruto was pulling some prank on the man, a rather bad prick that was covered in paint by Naruto was done. Hinata and Hanabi then came to see him, as he greeted him, as he come to know Hanabi quite well, as she called him Big Brother Naruto, as they were gonna have a party tonight, their usual monthly thing, as Hanabi wanted to come. As for Yasaka, she met Konohamaru. Upon meeting the young child, they got to speak, as she was offered by him to train her. At first she turned him down, but he wanted to get stronger for a good reason. People only see him as an honorable third. Ebisu apologized to him for, well, not treating him as his own person after he heard Konohamaru reasons, as he realized that all this time that Konohamaru didn't like the treatment one bit, so he apologized for that. However, Konohamaru now saw Yasaka as his hero, as he wanted to become as strong as her someday. So with that out of the way, she headed off towards the party, as she asked Konohamaru if he wanted to attend. He was happy to oblige. Meanwhile that was going on, Yuako, she was at the Akimichi restaurant. Yuako could eat a really whole lot, as she proceeded to eat choji out of a meal, which was rather shocking to Shikamaru and Ino. Ino was more shocked because she had such a perfect figure, yet she was able to beat Choji in eating contests. That was crazy. As she gathered the supplies before she headed off, getting the party mix to bring to the festivities. They all meet up later that night after. Naruto has been having some pains, but he had not really told the team about it. He was not sure why it was happening to him, but every now and then he feel this anguish of pain, as he's been trying to shrug it off as best as he could, but it's starting to rile up. So with that, they attend the party, as when the kids were asleep, Yuako pulled out a bottle of sake, 2 of them to be exact, 2 rather strong stuff. Hinata was against this, but after 30 minutes she was drinking as well. They all got super drunk. They made a lot of comedic memories that they would never remember. The next morning they were all gathered, Luckily, Hinata had soothed her headaches with her medical ninjutsu. However, Naruto collapsed on the ground as the pain was overwhelming. He couldn't even move. As Kakashi proceeded to bring him towards the hospital, Hiruzen arrived not too long after and asked what happened to him. As they informed the old man of what happened, they could not go inside, as the doctor started to work on him to see what was going on. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the blade, check out for yourself, and also don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what tips, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode, guys? Begin now, guys. The group waited outside for what seems like hours. In truth, only one had passed. As the doctor finally came out, everyone looked towards him expectantly. Unfortunately, we have no idea what it was. We used every single diagnostic jutsu, healing jutsu, and whatever we could think of. There was no abnormalities in his blood. He was free of any sickness or disease. There was no poison in his system. He had no injuries. I am sorry, Hokage-sama, but we have no idea what caused this. About 20 minutes ago, his pain just come to a stop. We performed more tests while he was sleeping, but we found nothing at all. He's awake now if you wish to see him. The poor doctor was almost trampled by the three worried women, as Kakashi and Hiruzen made their way in there, as Naruto was getting glared at by the three girls. "Come on girls," he said. "I'm in the hospital, remember?" He'd been stripped down to just his pants, and he was currently shielding himself away from the girls. "We know, and that's the only reason why we're not beating the hell out of you," said Yasaka, as she bashed her fist into her palm. Hinata gave him a Byakugan enhanced glare. "Next time something like this happened, you will tell us immediately," she said. Even Yuako was glaring at him, the Tomo in her Sharingan spinning. "Don't ever make us worry like that again," she said. "Okay," he said. "I'll be more careful, I promise." After the girls calmed down, Hiruzen walked up and gave Naruto a smile. "You gave us quite the scare, Naruto-kun. How are you feeling?" I'm alright. I told you guys it would pass eventually." They spent the next few hours talking, as Naruto insists the girls go and get some rest, that he was fine once they were gone. "Alright, you two. Now that you're gone, give it to me straight." "Am I dying?" said Naruto. A somber look was on Hiruzen's face. "We don't know. The doctor wasn't able to find anything wrong with you. Whatever this is, it's never been documented. At least not here." The room was silent as Naruto digested the information. "Well, whatever this damn thing is, I'm not gonna let it kill me. I plan on having a long, healthy life. I'm not gonna die by some damn chest pain." Kakashi placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. "Well then, you better rest. You're gonna stay here a while before they clear you to leave. So you be good and don't get into any trouble, understood?" "Come on, Sensei. What kind of trouble could I get in the hospital?" Time skip, midnight. "Are you sure that you're this way, Yasaka?" Yuako asked as the three of them leaped through the trees. "I'm sure. I can sense them clear as day," said Yasaka. "It was only just an hour ago, when all localized shinobi's were to mobilize. The forbidden scroll of sealing was stolen by a group of 4. Mizuki was a part of them." Yasaka would enjoy beating that prick down. Whenever they went to the academy for Aruka teaching, Mizuki would always try to sabotage her in some way, as Hinata Byakugan was able to pinpoint them. "I see them. There's only 3. Let's split them up and take them out immediately," she said. Mizuki accomplices were reserved shinobis who were tired of being on the back burner. Yuako nodded. "I'll interrogate one of them," she said, as they came upon the group of traitors, sitting around waiting for something, maybe their last teammate, because the report was that it was 4 of them. Yasaka looked towards Hinata, she motioned to the left, and Yuako to the right. She then flashed through hands and she took in a deep breath. Wing style. They chopper. A large blast of air struck right in the middle of them. The other 2 were launched towards the opposite side while Mizuki slammed right into a tree. As he rubbed his head, Yasaka jumped down right in front of him. "Hello, Mizuki. I'll be taking that scroll back to Jiji." Well, if it isn't a demon." "Speaking of which," he said, "did anyone ever tell you the Kyuubi?" she said. "I've known about that for 4 years now, you asshole." Mizuki pulled a kuna as he charged towards her. As she drew her blade Yumi, as she gripped the handle, she deflected all of his strikes with practiced ease. "Are you sure you're a chunin?" she said, "because that's rather pathetic." As she coated her blade in wind chakra and sliced clean through his kunai. What's the matter? Big bad Mizuki can't beat the Kyuubi girl," she said. Her natural cocky nature threw people off, as it always made people angry. He grabbed the giant shuriken on his back as he arced it towards her. She channeled more wind chakra in her blade as she sliced right through it, both half going to the left and right. Mizuki rushed towards her once again, thinking that she wouldn't be able to prepare herself after, blocking the Fuma shuriken, but she was a bit too fast for him, as she deflected second kunai before she thrust her blade right into his neck. His eyes widened in shock, before she shoved him back as he collapsed on the ground, dead. She flipped her blade, as she sheathed it. She picked up the scroll. Good riddance, she said. Meanwhile, Hinata was dodging the strikes of one of Mizuki. Clumsy comrade. Are you sure about this? Taking on a Hayugen Taijutsu, she struck him in the arm, as his arm dropped to his side, disabled, as he tried to run away. However, she was much faster. She appeared above him as she struck him in the back of the head with a palm strike, killing him instantly. I refuse to believe that these guys are tunings. And here I wanted to test my abilities, she said. As for the last one, he was currently suspended in a whirl of nothing but darkness, his mind being probed. Now tell me, where's your last teammate? The traitor eyes were glazed over, as Iwako Sharingan looked deep into his eyes. He went to the hospital to steal some blood samples as a peace offering to Orochimaru. He was the one that we were going to see after defecting. We were waiting here for our last teammate. Iwako nudged chopped him back of the head. Information about Orochimaru would be needed. Well, the hospital. I suppose there's nothing to worry about then, she thought. At said hospital. Don't worry, Sensei. It's a hospital. What really could happen here? That was what Naruto told Kakashi. As Naruto came across a guy passing his room with ill intent. He saw Naruto and, well, he tried to attack him, thinking that he had seen too much. So Naruto threw him right through a window. As Naruto jumped through the broken window, his opponent picked himself up and settled into a combat stance. As the guy rushed towards Naruto and threw a fist. As Naruto dodged aside, he brought his hand up as Naruto slapped it down before he grabbed his face and proceeded to plunge it into the earth. He then grabbed the guy's leg and smashed him into the hospital wall. Before he peeled him off and threw him like a ball, the guy crashed on the ground. He slowly picked himself up as he started to go through hand signs at a slow rate. Before he thrust his hand forward, wind style, Ripasho, he said. A blast of wind flew from his hand, striking where Naruto stood. However, the dust didn't take long to clear, and when it did, Naruto was nowhere to be seen. Well, that was a nice little warm-up. The ninja froze as Naruto brought down both of his hands on top of the man's head, knocking him out clean. The Anvus appear a few feet away from Naruto. As they were about to storm the hospital, hey, is this the guy you're looking for? Said Naruto, as he held the guy up. Kakashi appears, he looked around. Well, at least you kept the damage to a minimum for you. You just couldn't stay in bed, could you? What was I supposed to do? I saw this guy sneaking around. I poked my head out to speak to him, and he attacked me. Well, it figures that something like that would happen the moment we found out that the other guy's in the hospital, said Kakashi. You should go back to bed and get some rest. Alright, said Naruto, I'm going, as he threw the guy to the Anvu. The Anvu caught the ninja, and found it rather strange, the way Naruto was just holding him with one arm. It's not like the guy was that light, and not to mention he was unconscious. His weight was going down, and yet, well, this kid seemed to be ridiculously strong. Time skip. Are you sure you're alright, Naruto-kun? Yasaka asked as Team 7 was going for a mission. For the last time, said Naruto, I'm fine, as he patted his chest. Fit as a fiddle. Not gonna get put down anytime soon. Hinata shook her head. We just worry about you, Naruto-kun, she said. And you can be damn sure I'm going to be watching you like a hawk from now on. As Naruto felt someone poke his chest as he turned, Iwako was poking his chest. Jeez, you too, said Naruto. She poked him once again. I don't want you to get hurt either, she said, as she moved back to her position. As Naruto smiled, showing them that there was nothing to worry about. Whatever this was, he wouldn't like to kill him. End of discussion. They arrived to see Kakashi waiting for them. There you are. Ready for a mission, he said, as all of them nodded. Minutes later, they stood in front of the Hokage who was looking through a pile of missions. We will need to keep the easier ones for the newer graduates. Once they start missions, I do have a C rank. That should be simple enough. Your team is more than equipped enough to handle it. The team pouted at that. We'll take it to Kage-sama, said Kakashi. 2 hours later, Hiruzen had told the team before they left that, well, because of experience, he's not lived this long without knowing if someone was acting strange, and the client was acting rather strange. So he told them to be cautious on this mission. The mission towards Naminakuni. As the men arrived there, the name is Tezuna. You'll be protecting me on the way to Nami. And while I build my bridge, I expect you all to do your best, he said. Iwako noticed something off. The Hokage earlier statement confirming that. Why does he need protection while building a bridge? Why does someone want to hurt you for building a bridge? Protection on the road she could understand after all. You need protection, just in case thugs try to rob you, but why does he need protection to build a bridge? A glance to her teammates confirmed that they had similar thoughts. Without much discuss, they headed off. Along the way, Hinata started a conversation with their client. So Tezuna-san, what is Nami like? We've been genuine for a while now, but we haven't left. Hi Nakuni. There are many times. The man seemed to flinch for just a single second. Well, Nami is a big trading country, so we really rely on the ocean around us for protection. That's why I came to Konoha anyways. It's not as impressive as Konoha, but it's home. And we got to get there in a hurry so I can finish my bridge. Yasaka looked towards him. You seem pretty proud of this bridge, she said. Of course, it's gonna be my greatest work. It's planned to be one of the biggest bridge in the nation. Well, sounds like it's gonna be pretty impressive. Kinda wanna see it now, said Naruto. The 5 members of Team 7 traveled in silence until they noticed a puddle. As Kakashi muttered, "Go nuts," he said. Kakashi watched, and Tezuna as well, as Naruto and Yasaka charged forward towards the puddle. Yasaka pulled out her blade Yume. As she brought it down, "Mine," she said. But the puddle disappeared as 2 shinobis leaped out. They were wearing Mizuno Kuni headbands. Their claw gauntlet was connected by a chain. "Ha, there's 2 of them," said Naruto. "That means I get one too." Yasaka glared at Naruto. "No, I got here first and call it. They're both mine." "Hey, come on, that's not fair. I want to fight too," said Naruto. As the 2 of them turned, ignoring their opponents. "Too bad. I call dibs." The fact that 2 of them popped out is irrelevant. The 2 demon brothers sweat drop as they watch the Genins argue about who will get to fight them, as they rush forward intent to wrap them in their chain. However, a pair of golden chains shot from the ground, intertwining theirs, holding them back. What the hell? As Yasaka turned towards them. "Will you 2 stay out of this?" she said. As she looked back towards Naruto. "Come on," he said. "Fine, we'll share," she said. As Gozu noticed a chain come from her sleeve and going down into the ground. "There you go," said Naruto. "Things are so much more fun if you do them with friends." The demon brothers unhooked their gauntlets as Gozu tried to stab Naruto. He simply pulled back. "Oh, they can detach a chain. Neat," said Naruto. As Yasaka started to block and deflect strikes from Miyaizo. "I noticed," she said. "Seems that they're more effective as a team than individuals. By the way," she said, "it seems that poison's on their claws." Gozu eye twitched as he ran back towards Naruto. "Take us seriously!" However, Naruto gripped his wrists. Gozu was shocked by the speed. "Okay," said Naruto, "if you insist," as he pulled his head back before he slammed his forehead right into Gozu's, knocking the man out clean. "Wow," said Tezuna. "He's got a sturdy forehead." Yasaka rolled her eyes as Miyaizo charged towards her. A chain shot from her sleeve. He tried to block, but he dropped him up. She lifted him up as she turned him upside down before she dropped him right on his head, knocking him out. "Iwako," said Kakashi, "tie them up and interrogate them. I need to have a talk with our client." Tezuna started to sweat as Kakashi flanked by. The others approached him. "Alright, Tezuna, start explaining." What do you mean? I have no idea who those men were," he said. "I know you don't, but you knew why they were after you. Hokage-sama thought something was up with this mission. And you do as well. Why would you want us to protect you while you're building the bridge? Clearly someone is trying to stop you from doing this. Add that these 2 Chunin should know better than to attack us, with me being here, and my team that clearly know what they're doing. Unless of course they were hired to attack us. None of my team has bounties yet, and they know that you're way out of their league, so that just leave you," said Kakashi, in a serious tone. Tezuna sputtered, trying to come with an excuse. Alright," he said. "You're right. They were hired to kill me," he said, releasing a sigh. "Nami is in a dire struggle right now. It's been that way for a while now. A man named Gato showed up not too long ago. He has completely taken over the shipping industry of Nami." "The typhoon," said Hinata, as she had a bingo book in her hand. "Why would he do that? If Nami cannot ship, then he will lose out on a large amount of money. Not if he control all the ports. He used mercenaries to make the workers do what he want. He controlled their ships coming and leaving. He take nearly all the profits from the trade industry. Nami is incredibly poor now. People struggling to buy food. On the streets, homeless. My bridge is the only hope that we have on breaking his hold on Nami, and he knows it. Yasaka tapped a finger on her chin. So that is why these guys were after you. With you, they got to control Nami, and no one can stop him. As Tezuna nodded yes. I'm so sorry I lied about mission reports, but we're all so poor. A C rank is all that we could afford, even with most of us pitching in. He dropped down as he bowed to them. Please, you have to help us. I'm begging you, he said. Kakashi sighed as he turned towards his team. Iwako came over the Demon Brothers that confirmed his story. They also said that Gato may have hired a few more shinobis. They were pretty new. However, they were certain that Mamakai Zabuza was there. Well, said Naruto, what are we waiting for? We've been craving a high-profile mission, and here one is. Hinata nodded. Well, that is true. Yasaka was running her hand over the hilt of her blade. I would be lying if I said, testing my steel against one of these 7 swordsmen isn't exciting me. Iwako had a fire in her eyes, as they all seemed like they want to participate. Kakashi sighed. Very well then, he said. We will continue on with the mission. Count yourself lucky that my team is a bunch of bloodthirsty barbarians. He tilted his head, avoiding a strike from Hinata. Well then, if we're all ready, let's get on the move, he said. I'll have a clones figure out what to do with the Demon Brothers. 2 days later, back in Konoha, while Team 7 was on their way to Nami, the rookies were sitting in on the barbecue restaurant. Their senseis decided that it will be good for them to know one another, because they probably won't get a lot of time to socialize after they started missions. Plus, give the senseis a chance to see how the teams interacted. Asuma Sarutobi chuckled as he slapped a hand on the shoulder of the man next to him. Cheer up, Yamato. You will get used to taking care of a couple of brats. Eventually, he said. Yamato turned towards Team 11. Sasuke was brooding as usual. Sakura was trying to get his attention, and Sai, well, he was being Sai, doing Sai things. I know, it's just a big change from my previous position. As Kurenai looked over with a smile. Trust me, Yamato. It will get easier, she said. As they turned back to their students, the conversation had switched how they passed their tests. As Kiba was smirking at Sasuke, me, Shino, and Yakumo passed Kurenai Sensei tests without any problem. I bet we're on our way to be the strongest genins in the village. Akamaru barked in agreement. Sasuke smirked back. We'll see about that. Here to spar like back in the academy, he said. Anytime, any place, pretty boy, he said. However, Yakumo grabbed his arm. Please, Kiba-kun, she said. Don't make a scene. We don't want to get thrown out. The Kurama heiress Yakumo Kurama had really come into her own after her ego was sealed off. The other side of her, well, corrupted personality. A little demon that was inside of her because of her specialized clan and what they could do. However, it was sealed away, and she was able to quickly catch up with her peers and meet Genin. You know, said Ino, I'm starting to wonder which team is actually the strongest. I would normally say Team 11 since Sasuke-kun is on it, and Sai is pretty tough as well, but Forehead is weighing them down. Sakura eyed twitch. Well, what about you, pig, she said. You couldn't fight your way out of a paper bag, and Shikamaru barely moved. Choji is the only fighter, and he wasn't even the best in the class. Choji frowned as he ate more food. I wasn't that bad, he said. Excuse me, but what about us, said Kiba? With me and Akamaru, Shino with his bugs, and Yakumo with her genjutsu, we will be unstoppable. Shino sighed. Why don't we do the logical thing and just ask for Sensei? The entire Rookie 9, even Shikamaru, turned towards the 3 Jonins with expected looks. They all sweat dropped, and they were going to find a way to defuse the argument until Yamato spoke. Well, if we're talking about all the Genin teams in the village, and not just rookies, well then none of you are the best. All of them looked surprised except for Sai. Yamato didn't see a problem with telling them about Team 7. It was like their existence was some huge secret. Troublesome, said Shikamaru, so I guess it's Team 7 or 9 that are one of the strongest, right? Aruka said that they were still active. Yes, Team 9 is pretty strong, but Team 7 hold the title of the strongest Genin team out of all. All 4 of them are pretty tough. Wait, said Kiba. 4 of them? Well, no wonder they win by having an extra person. Well, Team 7 has an extra person because they didn't go to the academy, said Kurenai. They took and passed the examination when they were 12. What? Most of the rookies yelled. Sai already knew about them, Danzo. was sure to warn him. Still, he had to keep up his act. They must be incredibly strong then. Yamato nodded. I worked with them a few times before. I became a sensei. He worked with them to help Yasaka control the Kyuubi chakra, but they weren't to know that. Let me tell you this, he said. Any one of them could defeat any of you. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. I don't care how strong they are. I could defeat anyone I go up against. Oh, my apologies, Yamato said. I did not phrase that properly. I mean any one member of their team could take on your entire teams and win. So if you want to defeat them, you need to become much stronger. Sasuke didn't look happy. So, would we know them, Ino asked. You might, Asuma said. I mean, you could have met them one way or another. But don't go looking for them. They're out of the village right now on a mission. As Hiroki 9 wondered who was this mysterious Team 7. Even Sasuke did not know that his sister was a part of this team. He spent majority of his time ignoring her. As he knew nothing what she was up to, he just thought that she gave up on her dream to defeat Itachi. Well, ambition. Time skip. Back in Nami. Wow. The size of the bridge was truly impressive. Team 7 was currently in a boat, as they were being carried over towards the Water Nation. See anything? Asked Naruto as he looked towards Hinata. Nothing yet. Wait. We're approaching the island. The mist is heavy with chakra. It's not natural, she said. Alright, everyone be on guard. Diamond formation around Tazuna, and let's go. Once they sat down, they proceed with caution. Something's coming, said Hinata. As they all ducked down to the ground, a massive sword whipped over their heads. Someone flashed in the hand as Kakashi looked up. Zabuza. Momokai, he said. As the man looked down. Kakashi, the copy ninja, he said. What a surprise. Didn't think I would see you out here, with a bunch of brat no less. Don't suppose I can convince you to hand over the old man. As Naruto grinned. No chance, no brows, he said. Zabuza's eye twitched as he stared. Do you even know who I am, kid, he asked. We know who you are, said Yasakashi, draw Yumi. So tell me, it's a story of you killing 100 academy students before you got in to be in a genuine true, she asked. A dark chuckle came from him, as killer intent flooded through the air. One of the best days of my life, girl, he said, as he let out a full-blown laugh. As he saw them shaking. Pathetic. Just a bit of killer intent and they're already shaking like leaf. Kakashi looked towards him. Well, they aren't scared, he said. Zabuza stopped laughing as he looked down. What do you mean they aren't scared? That is when he noticed they were not shaking in fear. I hate to do this. I was hoping to fight you myself, but they will never let me. Forget about this if I take you on myself. What the hell are you talking about, Kakashi? Said Zabuza, as he jumped down and pulled out his sword. I'll step in if things get out of hand. Go get him, said Kakashi. Zabuza's eyes widened as the four of them shot forward. Naruto was the first to reach him. Zabuza brought his blade up to block. As Naruto's fist made contact with the steel, Zabuza was thrown back. He twisted his feet in the ground, stopping himself. What the hell? Iwako appeared beside him, her fist covered in flame as she swinged it. He ducked and dodged. The heat from her fist started to burn him. His instinct screamed at him to dodge as he jumped away, dodging Hinata fast. Jayugen strike. He had to flip back as he dodged a strike from the air that came from Yasaka. He pulled his blade up. Alright. Maybe you're not a bunch of brats after all, he said. Hinata dropped into her stance. You have no idea, she said. He spun as he blocked several chains, using his blades to hack at them. As the chains started to get around his guard and gripped onto him, he hacked and slashed them down. Still, he didn't get away unscathed as there was just so much of them. Some of them gashed and tore at his arm. Iwako rushed forward, her fists activated with flames, as she threw a punch toward his back. Well, he wasn't a normal ninja, as he ducked at the right moment as a wave of flames shoot from her wrist. He spun with a kick as he knocked her away. When he spun back around, the four Janins were gone. Zabuza grit his teeth until a grin formed under his bandages. Well, this might be a bit fun, he said to himself, as he held his blade in front waiting for them. He didn't have to wait too long as Yasaka leaped. As she started to clash blades with him, he blocks each of them as he threw out his own strikes. As she deflected and slid his larger sword down her slender blade, not giving him a chance to use his strength against her. Zabuza was beginning to enjoy this. He hadn't had a proper Kinjutsu fight in years now. However, she stepped back and leaped off the lake. As he turned to see the white-haired kid. Lightning release, said Naruto. As he stuck his hand into the water, bolts of electricity streamed across the water. But Zabuza flashed through hand signs the moment he saw Naruto. As he flashed through hands and created a water jutsu, a spear of water encased his body and floated him above the lake's surface as the water was electrified. After the lightning stopped, he released his technique and landed as he rushed straight towards Naruto. Naruto leaned as the sword swiped over his face. Before he reached and smashed Zabuza in the back, however, his hand burst right through him. As Naruto's hand was stuck, Zabuza's body was made of water, a water clone. The clone used a chakra to keep Naruto's hand there before the real Zabuza emerged and swung his blade. It slammed into Naruto's chest, throwing him back, dispelling the clone as well. Yasaka and Iwako then resumed their assault on Zabuza. As they started to attack him relentlessly, he was being overwhelmed by them. However, he did not even pay attention to Hinata who appeared and struck his arm, disabling it. He cursed as he jumped away, feeling the arm, feeling like pins and needles running through it. As Zabuza looked up as he saw the four of them, once again in front of him, he looked towards the white-haired kid. There was barely even a mark on his chest, despite him slamming the blade right into him. These kids were not ordinary. However, before he could do anything though, Senbon's lodged into his neck, forcing him to collapse on the ground. Team 7 watches Akira Hunter and Nin appear, and knelt next to Zabuza. I suppose I should thank you all. If you hadn't weakened him, it would have been much harder. The hunter moved to grab the body. However, Hinata was right upon him, bringing her arm down to strike him. However, he grabbed the body and performed a water shanshin, as her hand phased right through. He was already gone. They got away, said Hinata. Those Senbons placed Zabuza into a dead-like state. That hunter is working for him. I was thinking the same thing, said Kakashi. That's why I'll be taking him on next time. They all gave him a look. Don't give me that look, he said. I gave you guys a chance to fight him, while you did wound him, and you would have beat him eventually. I'm sure you guys can handle whoever got to higher, he said. He glanced over towards Naruto. You're right. It looks like Zabuza got you pretty good. Yeah, I'm fine, said Naruto. I'll need to change my shirt pretty soon though, he said, as Hinata came over and looked at its shallow wound, as she started to heal it. As Kakashi narrowed his eyes towards Naruto's chest. Something seems off, he thought to himself, as he turned toward Tazuna. An hour later, thank you for agreeing to help us. I can't express my gratitude, said Tsunami as she greeted the group. It's no problem, ma'am, really, said Naruto. We couldn't just say no after we learn about what is going on here. As they were seated at the family dining table, Tazuna broke out a bottle of sake. Kakashi turned toward the students now. I don't want you three to go getting hammered while we're here, he said, as they sent him nasty looks. We've already told you, Sensei. We regret drinking so much at night. I don't, said Yasaka. It was fun. Right, Iwako-chan? Yeah, it was pretty entertaining in the beginning, but I don't want to get drunk like that again anytime soon. As Naruto chuckled and patted Yasaka on the head as she pouted. Don't worry. We'll find some other way to have fun without booze, he said, as Inir left after glaring at them. What's his problem? Who knows, said Yuaka. Maybe it's not our place to ask. Tsunami sighed from the kitchen as she stepped out. I'm sorry about him, she said as she explained, making the rest of them feel rather sad. It's not good when a child loses hope. Meanwhile, son of a bitch! Zabuza yelled. Next time, why don't you be a little more rough? That could have hurt more, he said in a sarcastic tone. The hunter then removed the mask, revealing a beautiful face. Well, I had to pull them out, and there's no other gentler way to do it. I'm surprised a team of Genin were able to do this. They must be pretty strong. I underestimated them. By the time I started to take them seriously, they've already overwhelmed me. Speaking of, the next time I want you to be careful around them, Haku. Were they that strong? A Hyuga, a Uchiha, and a Uzumaki. The latter. I thought the other two were gone. I've heard of those chains before. Kiri had a couple of scrolls about the Uzumaki clan, so there's no mistaking that. Also, the kid with the white hair. What about him? He doesn't seem that strong. It seems like he was holding back. Strangely, a lot. Really? Yeah. When he punched my blade, I could feel it quick. Like if he had added a bit more strength, it would have broken. Also, it sent me skittering back. Not to mention when I went to strike him, I put enough strength to bisect a normal man. A normal Jonin, that is. And yet it just sent him away. It was unable to truly slice deeply into his skin, said Zabuza as he looked over towards his blade. Maybe he also has a bloodline. All of them are quite special, maybe. He's special as well. Well, incredible strength. Damn near uncuttable. My sword did cut him though. But it wasn't able to go far, so maybe something under his skin. Damn, that white-headed brat, no. He can't be one of them. That's impossible. Zabuza thought to himself. What's wrong, said Haku. It can't possibly be that bad. I don't want to say anything until I know I'm right. But if he's what I'm thinking of, then you're gonna have to be very careful. Because as much as I hate to say it, you won't be able to touch him. I just hope I'm wrong. That night was enough to give me chills. They were interrupted as a short man burst into the room, flanked by two other men with blades. As Zabuza drew his own blade and placed it under the sheet. Well, imagine my surprise when my man reported back to me that Kazuna arrived in Nami. Perfectly fine. Do I need to hire someone better to take care of him? Can it, Gato? I got this perfectly under control. Once I'm back up to full strength, I'll kill the bridge builder. Now leave, you're bothering me, said Zabuza. Gato stepped forward. Now see here, you poor excuse for... His hand was stabbed by Haku with a senbon. As the two men draw their blades, Haku gave them a cold look. Zabuza-sama told you all to leave. So leave, Haku calmly said. Her eyes were as cold as ice. As the three left the hideouts, glaring at them. Well, look at that. One look at senbon is crying like a bitch, said Zabuza, as Haku gave him a deadpan stare. Says the man who complained about me removing them. Zabuza at least had the decency to look somewhat embarrassed. Back at the house, Yasaka walked in, calligraphy brush in hand. Just one last measure, she said, as she placed the kanji for sound in the center of the scroll. Seal, as it glowed, activating the other seals over the house, and around it as well. Now, if anyone except for us enter the perimeter of the seal will let off the alarm. It also has a gravity increase, seal barrier on it. I am not at the level of sealing that I'm at my chain, so these will have to do. The brush that she had was a special one. The branch was made from a sakura tree. It was painted red with black swirls on it. It was from the Uzumaki main family line. Uzumaki members use it. The last known survivor tucked it away in a scroll, given to her by Hirsen. It converted your chakra into ink, eliminating the need for ink well. Despite her Funjutsu abilities, the black markings that were on it were sealing. She was nowhere near to unraveling those, so she had to keep this safe, because she wouldn't know how to recreate it. Naruto and Yuako arrive a few minutes later. The bridge is clear. I checked every single inch of it, said Naruto. There were a few thugs harassing the workers, but I encouraged them to leave. I looked over town, said Yuako. It is really as bad as Tazuna say. Kids running around in rags. People stealing left and right. It's a miracle that Tsunami and Tazuna still have food on the table. Tsunami walked in as she overheard the conversation. More like luck, she said. I have a garden behind the house, where I grew most of the food that we consume. And despite my father's drinking problem, he's always been good at saving money still. We can only last for so long. Well, on the bright side, you won't have to work for too long. Once the bridge is built, Gato will be out of luck. Time skip. A few days later, Naruto rolled his shoulders as he walked through the forest. He groaned at the dull ache in his chest. At least it was getting less painful. They had been in Nami for a few days and nothing much has really happened. They had taken turns guarding the family. As Naruto went on a walk, he needed some air, and not to mention that he didn't want his friends to know that his illness was flaring up. Thankfully, this time was nowhere as bad as before. It was just a dull ache. As he sat to rest against a tree, as he ended up dozing off, his sensory ability warned him of someone approaching. Opening his eyes, he saw a girl in a yukata. It was pink and she was carrying a basket. She looked at him with surprise. You should not sleep out here. You could get sick, she said, as she looked towards his headband. Are you a shinobi? Yep, from Konoha, he said. As to getting sick, don't worry, I never do. Name's Naruto. What brings you all the way out here in the forest, he said. She smiled. Name is Haku, she said. I'm gathering some herbs for a friend. He was injured a while ago, and I'm trying to help him. Well, as long as I'm here, said Naruto. Could you use an extra pair of hands, as he got to his feet? Haku nodded as he picked the herbs. After a few minutes, she turned towards him. Naruto-san, why do you fight, she said, as he gave her a questioning look. Well, I believe when someone has something to protect, they become truly stronger. So why do you fight, she asked, as Naruto was about to answer until he stopped. Why did he fight? What reason he had to become a shinobi? He didn't do it to protect the girls. They were all strong on their own right. Now that he thought about it, he didn't really have anything driving his actions. Yuako wanted to bring her brother to justice and make her family proud. Hinata wanted to head her family and unite them. Yasaka wanted to become the strongest Uzumaki in history, using their two most feared traits, that being Kinjutsu and Funjutsu. What reason did he have to fight? He only became a shinobi because the girls wanted to. As he realized that he's only just following their lead, he trained with Inu because Yasaka wanted to. He took the advanced genin exams because the girls wanted to. He didn't really have any family to make proud that he fought for, as fighting for the girls were not really something that he could say because, as he said, they were all strong on their own right, as they also helped him as much as he helped them as well. You know, I thought I was doing it for a reason, but now, as you asked me that, I cannot say one because I don't think I have one, said Naruto, as he looked towards the ground, seemingly lost in thought as she spoke. Well, I didn't have a reason to live when I was a child. My family life wasn't the best and I lost everything. But I found my reason to live. Maybe you just haven't found your reason yet. As she gave him a smile, thank you, she said. These will be a big help. No problem, said Naruto, as she started to walk away. Oh, also tell Zabuza to be ready for another ass kicking, said Naruto. She dropped the basket and spun around, pulling out 2 senbons. I'm a censor. You put up an amazing act, but you can't hide your chakra, said Naruto. Calm down, he said. If I wanted you dead, I wouldn't have told you that I know who you are. She narrowed her eyes. So why? Why didn't you kill me, she said. You seem like a good person, so I won't hurt you. However, that might be different if we see each other on the bridge at the end of the week. She put away her senbons for what it's worth. I hope you find a reason to fight soon. As she picked up the basket. If you don't, I will kill you, no matter what tricks you pull. With that, she was gone in a sunshin. As Naruto made his way back to the house, when he arrived, they were already settling down back to eat. So, I met the hunter named, said Naruto. They all looked towards him with surprise. She was gathering herbs to help Zabuza. As she was in a disguise, I sensed who she was, and we talked. Let me guess, said Yasaka. You didn't take her out. Nope, she seemed like a good person. And she actually helped me put some things into perspective. Well, said Kakashi, so long as you're ready when time comes. Why are you even trying? They all turned towards Inari. You're all just gonna die in your ways, he said. It's useless to fight against Gato. Yuako tilted her head. We can do it. We're all very capable shinobis, she said. You're all so stupid, he said. No one can beat Gato when you act like nothing is wrong. None of you have any idea what it's like to suffer. As Naruto, Kakashi, Hinata, they flinch, as they could feel the ki already emitting from the other two. You're a disgrace. As Inari and his family flinch, the sudden change surprised them in Yasaka. We don't know what it's like to suffer. I imagine if you live a single day in my life, or experience the thing that Yuako-chan had to go through, then you would understand real suffering. I won't tell you her story because it's not my place. But as for me, since the day of my birth, nearly all my home village has called for my death. I've been starved, insulted and beaten for as long as I can remember. Would you like to hear what I already went through at your age, she said. She didn't give him a chance as she got to her feet and started to walk towards him. When I was 5 years old, me and Naruto was walking in the night. A group of grown men attacked us. They dragged Naruto away, and he was fighting them off, but I was left alone. They punched, they kicked, they beat me. And then I heard them start to laugh about doing awful things to me, and I felt one of them grab my skirt. I snapped, and I ripped them apart. I shredded them to pieces, she said. Tsunami covered her mouth with a gasp. Kazuna was horrified. I was in the hospital for a long while after that. Therapy and mental training took up a lot of my time. If it wasn't for Naruto convincing me and staying with me, I don't know where I would have been today. I was weak and let those people walk over me because I was a scared, timid girl. But I vow never to ever be weak again. So tell me, Inari, which one of us doesn't know suffering? As she walked out of the house, as Yuako turned towards the door, she went, but she came to a stop. My brother killed her parents right in front of me and my other brother. I listened to the pain of screams. As my family, everyone in my clan was wiped away except for me and my brother. by her own older brother. Your story is tragic, she said, but you will come to learn that not everyone has a good life, and most people have suffered in this world. So next time, before you say anything, get to know people before jumping to conclusions, and be grateful for what you still have, she said. You still have family. You still have people that love you, she said, as she left the house as well. As Naruto decided to let them be, Yasaka hated when Naruto see her emotional. The only one that she would let see her like that was Yuako. The both of them had formed a bond, sharing through pain and heartbreak. With the evening taking on a sober tone, Kakashi, Tsunami, and Tsunobu was the only one left. Was all of that true? Said Tsunami. Unfortunately, yes, said Kakashi. Time skip. One day before the battle, things were still tense at the house even though Inari had apologized to them. He felt really bad. He's had it bad, but they've had it worse. Hinata was currently going down the street with Tsunami at the moment. She had foil many people trying to rob from them. However, she gave the kids some of the ration that she had. As they arrived back towards the house, kanjis appear on Hinata's arm. Naruto incoming, convulsing. Take Inari and Tsunobu upstairs. I need this area clear. Tsunami didn't know what was going on, but she listened. As the door flew open, Kakashi came in, carrying Naruto, who was convulsing. What happened, she said. This seems more intense than before, as she cleared the table and placed him down on it. He was fine 1 second, then he suddenly collapsed and started this. Then we took him here immediately. As Yasaka and Yuako stood back, a look of worry on their faces as they stood there. Hinata cut off his jacket and shirt. It's chakra. It's going insane, she said. The doctor in Konoha gave me these, in case this happened again, she said, as she pulled out a syringe from her bag, as she stabbed it in Naruto's arm. It's a powerful sedative. There's still nothing wrong with him that I can see, so this will at least put him to sleep. As he passed out, Hinata looked even closer. Wait. His bones, she said. Its chakra is seeping out of his coils and coating around his bones. It wasn't doing this the last time, she said. As Naruto stopped moving, the pain subsiding. There are dark grey patches on his bones. I still have no idea what this is, but his chakra. It's clearly the cause. I have no better way to say this, but he will have to stop using chakra until we find a way to stop this, she said. Everyone was silent as she said that. Naruto was so powerful, but maybe this was a price. As Kakashi brought him upstairs and laid him down, as the girls were downstairs thinking, but they could come up with no solution. Yasaka went upstairs. She sat beside his bed, as she just sat there, watching him sleep. Looking down at him, she made a choice as she pulled her brush out. As she moved the futon, exposing his chest and his torso. Time skip. Naruto woke up. Something was wrong. He tried to feel for his chakra, but he could not feel it, nor could he sense anything. He bolted upright, his head spinning as he woke up. He looked to see a freshly painted chakra restriction seal on his chest and stomach. He turned to Yasaka, who was sitting there, looking at him stoically. Yasaka, what the hell? You seal in my chakra? He said. Yes, I did, she said in a serious tone. Hinata said your chakra was causing your incidents, so I seal it off. When we get back to Konoha, you're gonna have to resign from the Shinobi program for your own safety, she said. You can't be serious, said Naruto. I love being a shinobi. I love being on our team. I can deal with the pain, he said. No, she said. This is for your own good. That seal is only coming off with my permission, and I will not give it. I'm going to leave you to rest, and don't make me seal you into this room. Naruto got up and grabbed her wrist. Don't tell me to rest. I hate you when people do that. Now you're going to take this seal off. Right now, he said. As Naruto was rarely angry with her, and this was one of those times. Naruto, you will get back in that bed and stop trying to use chakra, even if I have to make you, she said. Her voice started to waver as her fist clenched. I will not let you kill yourself. It's my damn choice, said Naruto. I want to keep working with you guys. I will deal with the pain, and if I die, so what, he said. She spun around as tears were leaking from her eyes, a look of pain on her face. Don't you get it, you fool, she said. I don't want you to die. I can't even think about what I would do if you weren't in my life. Yasaka, she cut him off by throwing her arms around him. I know it's selfish, but I forbid you to die, she said. You promised me that you would never leave, remember? Flashback. 4-year-old Naruto and Yasaka sat in the orphanage. As they watched other kids play, she had just been crying. They denied her from playing with them. Naruto placed the armor on her shoulder. Oh, come on. We'll build our own game, and it will be better than theirs by far. She turned at him with tears in her eyes. Why do you stick around me, she said. I just get you in trouble, and everyone tell you to leave me alone. Forget them. I'll always be by your side. Pinky promise, she said as she held out her pinky. He took her pinky. I promise. I'll never leave you alone, and I never break my promise. That brought a smile to her face. End of flashback. Yasaka, I promise. I'm not gonna die. So would you please take the seal off? No, she said. You'll die if I do. So promise me that you will just do what I say. Promise me you will rest and resign for your own good. Please, she begged as she looked him in the eyes. As she was crying. He hated to see her cry. He hated to see her in pain. Fine, he said. I'll do it. As he went back to the bed. As she hugged him once more before she left the room. Stepping outside, she saw Hinata and Yuako. I don't regret it, she said. I know why you did it, Yasaka, said Hinata, and I share your motivations. But that was a little extreme. Yuako nodded. You use his feelings against him, and you manipulate him. But it is his decision whether he goes out or not. You cannot keep him a prisoner forever, she said. I don't care, she said. I'll do whatever it takes to keep him alive, even if he hates me. He already saved my life more time than I can count. I won't let he throw his away, she said. The next morning, as Naruto sat in the room, he had vowed to her that he would never leave her alone. And if he was gonna die, that would be breaking his promise. And he hated to see her sad. Despite how much he hated not being out there with them, he didn't want to make her sad. He heard a scream. As Naruto rushed downstairs, as he saw Tsunami protecting Iner from two armed men. Despite his chakra being sealed off, as Naruto rushed out, the first one Naruto grabbed him and slammed him into the wall. The second one swung as Naruto ducked underneath and rushed forward before slamming a fist under his chin and gripping his face before he slammed his head down hard. Are you two okay? Said Naruto. Yeah, but they say the others were in trouble, she said. Screw it, Naruto thought. You guys go inside and hide, said Naruto. As they nodded as he went in as Naruto rushed off, heading towards the bridge. Damn it, he said. Should have grabbed a shirt. As something was stirring inside of Naruto as he moved, the seal on him started to pulsate a bit as he rushed towards the bridge. Despite with the seal on, he still was ridiculously strong. Well, he wasn't a normal person. He was not even a normal human being. But guys, be and subscribe right here for what's next part to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace, guys.